we need to talk about Baker Mayfield, okay? I know this is a quite popular subject on Twitter, on the internet, on radio stations, and general conversations, okay? Now, coming into this season, there were certain expectations of an uptick in performance, okay? Everyone was hoping that Baker Mayfield would build upon his second half of last season and become more consistent, close the difference levels of variance, and become just an overall better quarterback and take the Browns offense to that next level, okay? Part of that was year 2 in Kevin Stefanski's system, at one point reinserting Odell Beckham Jr. into the equation, and just overall more comfort, more consistency organization-wide. Here's the problem. That has not been the case so far for Baker Mayfield, okay? Yes, he's won 3 games with the Browns. They're 3-1, but Baker Mayfield is not the reason why. They are winning with Baker Mayfield, not because Baker Mayfield, okay? So I got some numbers for you. Through these first 4 games, Baker Mayfield has a bad throw percentage of 25%. This is the worst of his career by 6.2%. Now, chances are it's going to lower a little bit. It's going to level out because that's just how it is. But again, concerning. In Sunday's win over the Vikings, Mayfield had a negative 13.5 completion percentage over expected. And that is in addition to an average completion of just 4.7 yards. Okay, so not only was he just not completing passes that he's supposed to, the passes he did complete were not very far. They were basically just dump-off passes. They were short passes. They weren't anything down the field. And when you watched him play, you saw why. All of his throws that went beyond 20 yards, he went 0 for 7, by the way. They were off target. They were bad. They were not thrown on the right side of his receiver. They were underthrown. They were overthrown into the end zone. He was a complete mess, okay? And that's before just looking at some of the intangible things, okay? Now, in 2019, when Baker Mayfield was at his worst, he had 2 very bad habits that kept coming up over and over again. That was abandoning the pocket prematurely and rolling to his right. Well, I got bad news for you. He's doing both this year, okay? He's abandoning the pocket prematurely, and he's going to his right early and often. All right? And that's before even mentioning just the bad mechanics, bad footwork, just everything about him is just off-timed, okay? That's stuff that can be corrected, but the fact that everything has just become unhinged and he's become almost an unplayable quarterback for this offense is alarming, okay? And when he has stuck in the pocket or he has tried to run away from pass rushers, it hasn't been really all that effective. He's been sacked 12 times this year, which is almost half of how much he was sacked last year. That was 26. This trend continues. His career high number of 40 will be exceeded fairly easily. When it comes to pressure per dropback, it's at a number of 18.4%, which is 0.4% lower than last year, but let's be honest, that's not really resulting in better results from him now, is it? Because he's been sacked already 12 times. And it's not the offensive line's fault, because got some news for you. The Browns currently lead the NFL in both pass rush win rate and pass block win rate, okay? Pass rush win rate at 59%, pass block win rate at 71.9%. So they're doing their job for the most part, okay? Again, I have not been necessarily impressed with them as a unit, but it's not their fault as often or as much as people like to blame the offensive line. It's not necessarily on them as it is Baker, okay? Baker's only been blitzed 19 times this season. I'm sorry, 29 times. 29 times. Read that number wrong. Still, point is the same. 29 times. Okay? So 29 times on 113 pass attempts, 125 pass plays, that's excluding rushes that he scrambles for, okay, which is 11. So the 136 pass plays, and he's been blitzed 29 times. That is not a very high rate, okay? What's happening is the defenses are dropping their guys back in coverage forcing him to read the defense after the snap, something that he's not good at doing. He never has been. He's never going to be good at reading the defense post-snap. What you see is that when he has to read it, he holds the ball for longer, which is leading to his longer time to throw after the ball is snapped rate. The only quarterback sacked more frequently than Mayfield, because he's been sacked 9.6% of his dropbacks this season, are Justin Fields, Davis Mills, Zach Wilson, and Ryan Tannehill. Okay, and that's not a group you want to be in. Even Ryan Tannehill has been this good this year. So, kind of an issue. Now, something I've been harping on since week 1 that kind of funny to me that people are just now paying attention to, but I mentioned it week 1 and people were like, no, Jim, you're not right. You don't got this. I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll come back to it. And week 2, it evened out. Week 3, it was a little bit closer. I'm like, week 4, oh, wait, everyone's talking about air yards. Air yards, okay? Because you know what? Baker's not throwing the ball down the field. Okay? His air yards to yards after the catch. He has 453 air yards on the year, 482 yards after the catch. Okay? What this is telling you is that he's not throwing the ball down the field, and his completions he is making are short, and they're going for yards after the catch. Now, perhaps that all changes if he makes a couple connections with Odell Beckham Jr. and the win on Sunday, where things might even out, or maybe air yards overtakes yards after the catch. But currently, he's not. And that's an issue. That is a consistent issue. Okay? Now, we need to look at the big picture. Okay? What we have is a quarterback who's completely regressed to the play of a rookie. Okay? He is actually playing worse now than he has ever during any course of any season. Okay? I don't care about completion percentage. Show me bad throws. Show me on-target passes. Show me completions down the field. Okay? He doesn't push the ball down the field anymore. He is afraid to throw. He is constantly off schedule. He does not have good mechanics. He does not trust his linemen to block for him, even though they're the best in the league at doing it. He's not trusting them. So what's happening is he's playing poorly, okay? Now, there's a lot of discussion about, oh, Baker's hurt, and that's why he's playing bad. Well, he was playing bad before he got hurt, okay? And if he really is hurt, well, newsflash, I got bad news for you. Everyone trying to say he's hurt and that's an excuse. Everyone's hurt in the NFL all the time, okay? They're playing with some sort of bump or bruise or injury or whatever. Everyone's hurt all the time. Now, is he injured? Because that's a different story. Injured means you can't play. And if his play is affected so much by this shoulder injury that he's playing this poorly and that's the reason why, an injury, maybe he shouldn't be playing, maybe he shouldn't be playing then, okay? Because if it's impacting his play this much where he can't connect on wide open throws down the field, he can't read a defense, he can't trust the pocket, then you've got a bigger problem, okay? Maybe he shouldn't be playing. But let's talk a bigger picture. Because coming into the season, it was all about contract. Are the Browns going to sign Baker? Are they going to, set the market for him? That was always nonsense talk to begin with, and through 4 weeks, I've been proven correct. But extension for Baker Mayfield. He is unextendable right now. He is not a player you even entertain a contract for right now. Because you look at the offense, you look at the ineffectiveness on a weekly basis, you look at how it completely just comes to a complete grinding halt whenever they have to pass more than run. And you ask, is this the guy I want leading my team? Is this the guy I want being my quarterback? Okay? And I know a lot of people like to say franchise quarterback all the time, and they misapply the term franchise quarterback. Okay? I even heard it on the radio this morning. People were using the term for guys like Joe Flacco and Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. Those were never franchise quarterbacks. People just use the term incorrectly. So far in his career, and it appears so far for the long haul, unless things change across the board, is that Baker Mayfield's never going to be a franchise quarterback. He'll be a quarterback for your franchise. Those are two different things. That's a guy that you can win with and not because of. That's a guy who's part of the offense, not what drives the offense. He is the guy that is carried by everyone else around him, and he's not carrying them. Okay? There is a very distinct difference in the type of player. He's in the I need help. I need a certain level of skill positions around me. I need everything to be just right. Everything's on schedule. Everything's working correctly. I'm good. As soon as one thing falls apart, it's all over. That doesn't apply to your Aaron Rodgers, your Patrick Mahomes, your Tom Brady. I can keep going on and on. So when it comes to contract extensions, I know people were trying to say the $40 million range. Some people have tried to say 50. I wouldn't even pay him 20 right now, okay? 20 would be way too much for what we're getting out of him. What the Browns need to do is let this contract run its course, see if he improves, don't even offer an extension at any point, and just evaluate it when the time comes. When there's a time and a moment that they need to actually address the quarterback position with possibly a different player, do it then. But there's no reason now or ever to extend him with how he is playing at this current moment.